Hey, everybody.
How you doing?
Good, good. Big tour coming through.
Big tour, uh-oh.
Big tour, huh? Man, they would have got here a little earlier. They could have seen somebody more important.
You feel like a zoo animal?
Yeah, at times. At times we do. They're saying, who is that guy?
Shotty.
That's how Coach Spurrier said it for sure.
Clarence Hill, All City, Dallas. Any thought process of regrets not getting Trey Lance in the game earlier, and what is the plan for him going forward?
Yeah, again, we had some things ready for him. I know Mike spoke about it a little bit. I mean, you look back on the game, we had a lot of young guys playing, and Trey certainly, if he gets in there, is going to go in there and perform well. So yeah, you'd love to get him some reps, but again, the guy's getting better. He's getting reps, he's getting better. I do think, Coop did some good things in the game. I really do. Spread the ball around, especially early in the game. The turnovers again. The one gets knocked out of his hand late. He's in motion, but again, it was one of those situations where you look back and you're like, yeah, would have been great to get him some reps with those guys late. But again, it was a situation where we thought Coop was doing a good job and just didn't manifest itself.
It's one thing to say get him some reps late, but just talking, we got packages for him. Is it tough to, okay, if you want to give him packages in the first, second, and third quarter, how do you use that, and when do you use those type of
Yeah,
packages?
it's a great question. It is, because there's a flow of the game and how the game's going, and does he go in for 4, 5, 6 plays? Is he going for 1 play, 2 plays, whatever it is? He's no different than most players. It's easier to get into a rhythm if you're playing a lot of 3, 4, 5, 6 plays in a row. And so that's the hardest part, just the balancing part of what fits, how's it work. If you get it in early and it works, you kind of go at it again. The positive of doing it is, the opponents have to work on it. So, again, the cool thing is we've been able to add each week to the package, and there's things that he's comfortable with. But, hopefully we can get it on display this week.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN. The 4th and 2 play, Mike said it was a rub route situation.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at it, it didn't look like there was much of a rub route. Like, what was the breakdown?
Yeah, the spacing wasn't great. The motion came down. CD got stuck inside a little bit too much. The corner jumped outside, and when you look at the protection part, Coop kind of got pulled up off the edge. We got the holding call. So, again, his line, there's an early progression, there's a late response, is what I would say to you. So if they play the concept, you've got a response by the receivers on the perimeter late. But when he got pulled up, all he really had was the over route to I think it was Mingo. So, again, just got to execute it better.
John Machado with The Athletic. On the Turpin touchdown, what did you see off that play, and do you see ways where maybe there's more ways to get him involved like that?
Yeah, first of all, it was a great route. He kind of dropped the guy. They were playing what we call one double CD. They were trying to double team CD, so everybody else obviously is singled. But, when he got behind the guy on the route across his face, just shows the speed, the closing speed that Turp has, and that's what we feel good about when teams want to try to take CD away, is we do have guys like that, that when you get the ball in their hands, they can kind of make explosive plays with their speed. And Coop did a great job because, again, it was a read. We could have gone either side. He saw the double team going over to CD, and he went and read front side. So great finish by Turp.
Saudis of The Athletic. Brian, you've had coordinator roles in the past. I'm just curious, in this stint that you've had in Dallas, just how have you felt that you've developed as a coach and grown in that coordinator role?
The biggest thing for me, obviously, is the relationships. I would say that's what I've learned over my 25 years coaching is, the relationships with the guys. And again, we're in a tough stretch. We all understand that. We're all disappointed. We're all frustrated. But, I'm motivated to come to work every day because of the way our players work and the way that they're attentive in meetings and the way that they work on the practice field and the way that they study and they prepare. So it's a relationship business. And the thing that I say is, when I'm done coaching and when these guys are done playing, we're going to remember how these last, few weeks go in terms of the guys that are going to roll their sleeves up and go back to work, which is the only thing you can do in this business, right? I mean, nobody feels sorry for us. Nobody does. So in that regard, that's been the number one thing for me. But, the biggest thing is you begin to cherish that. And, again, if you would have asked me that 12 years ago when I first became a coordinator, or 14, whatever it was, I would have probably talked a lot more about X's and O's and scheme. Not today.
And as a coordinator that's not calling the plays, what's the difference there in that of how you have to go about the job as a coordinator that's not calling plays versus one that does?
Yeah, again, just what's the best way to set it up for the guy that's calling the plays. The input you have during the week, obviously, the input with the staff, getting to all the different departments. And then, on game day, it switches a little bit because you're trying to make suggestions, but you also have been the guy calling the plays. So there's a flow, right? And, when you're calling the game, there's a right time to give people information. And I think Mike does a good job processing all the information that he's being given. But it is a delicate thing because too much noise on the headset's never a good thing for a play caller. Obviously very respectful with that because I do understand the difficulty of trying to piece together a sequence of plays and how it works.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Last couple of weeks you've had linemen try to scoop up fumbles, Guyton, I think it was steal. Just the teaching point there for your big guys.
Yeah, talked about last week. I don't know if you asked the question or not, but until they start going to ball drills with the receivers and getting on the jugs, they should get the football and go on the ground. Again, I get it. They're competing. We're all competing, but they're not. They're not supposed to be carrying the ball. They're not great at carrying the ball. They have to be better. We have to coach it better.
Some of that, you're struggling, so we're trying to do something with the ball.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was Terrence's deal, I know, 2 weeks ago, right? The ball was laying there. It was open space, and he tried to pick it up, and same thing with Guyton yesterday. But, Guyton took a hell of a shot. Those guys are closing fast. But, again, when you don't train to carry the football, you're not supposed to be carrying the football. So the reaction in that situation is I have it, I need to go to the ground.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. After working with him, what's the challenge going up against the Dan Quinn defense?
Obviously, we know him well. He knows us well. Again, I think you watch them play. Their play style is very familiar in terms of the way they fly around with the football and stuff like that. They do a really good job with disguising their defenses. I'm a huge fan of Joe Witt. I think Joe's doing a terrific job. Their disguise packages, you have to be really good with your eyes, not only pre-snap but post-snap, because what they show you pre-snap, you might be something completely different than what they do post-snap. So we have to be very, very disciplined with our eyes. And just right now they're doing a nice job with their packages, with their linebackers. Bobby Wagner, I was with him in Seattle, playing at an elite level. He's obviously comfortable with DQ's defense, but it'll be fun to see those guys. And again, I think they're playing with some confidence right now.
And starting Austin Richards at left tackle last week, Flanoy yesterday. Do you see more of an intention around getting youth more experience so far?
Yeah, I think some of it's been out of necessity. Some of it's been just trying to get young guys playing. Anytime a young player plays, there's going to be good plays, bad plays that they can grow from and learn from. And right now we're kind of mixing and moving parts, and we'll see how the injuries play out through the week. It's always a challenge when you come off a Monday night game, when you get some guys who are dinged up, and then see how it works out later in the week. We won't have too many full-speed practices for a while because you'll not only have this game coming up, but then you got the Thursday game coming up the week after that. So, but when young guys like Austin did some good things the other day, Tyler Guyton did some good things yesterday. And so you point those out, but we're very direct with our coaching around here. We point out the good, we point out the bad. It's got nothing to do with criticizing them. It's trying to make them the best player they can be.
Joe?
Joe Witt, also D. Dallas. You went out your way to point out Joe Witt Jr. as a guy, same thing that Mike McCarthy did earlier. What is it about Joe Witt that makes you a fan of him, and what kind of impact have you seen just going from here to there?
Number one, tough and detailed coach. My year here as a consultant, that's really where I spent most of my time, was in the DB room. Awesome teacher, man. Just a great communicator, great teacher, but he's tough. He's tough on those guys, and they respond, which is cool. Like I mentioned, the disguises make it hard for us as a former quarterback that couldn't throw the ball very well. My thing was at the line of scrimmage, I kind of at least could tell what the defense was doing so I could get through my progression. People like Joe Witt made it very difficult for a guy with not much talent to have success because there's a time element where you're like, oh shoot, I thought it was this and it's something different. So now your progression should be here instead of there. But awesome coach, and he's certainly doing a great job with them up there.
And you talked about Terp's route specifically on that touchdown. How have you seen his route running develop? And I guess what else are you guys looking to see from him in order to maybe make that more of a consistent thing?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Turp a lot. I think over the past 6, 8, 10 weeks, as a route runner, he's getting much more explosive and better at the top of the route. We call it at the breaking point. He's way better at the breaking point at creating separation, and you saw that yesterday. I mean, he kind of spun a CUDA pretty good and got inside, and then when he has space like that, he's hard. Improvements for him, I would say some of the contested catches. When he's running down the field 50-50 balls or balls across the middle. You don't have to be a huge guy. Turp's obviously not a big guy to be great at that. Watch a guy like Tyler Lockett, who I was around in Seattle. He's not a big guy, but you learn how to kind of use your body. I would say that's something that Turp can improve on and get better at with time. And it'd be good for him, like in the offseason, to study a guy like Tyler and to kind of see how he uses his body to shield people.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. Kind of a two-part question. How would you assess how Luke and Brevin played in Jake's absence, and given that he might not be back for Sunday, how do you kind of want to see their roles grow with Jake's sideline?
Yeah, I thought they both played pretty well. We tried to roll them through, get them both involved. Obviously we'll see how things play out with Fergie, but I know the one thing is when it happened, when we lost Fergie, we didn't check up. All the packages moved up. We wanted to play them both. I was happy for Scooney. Some of the contested catches, he took the one big shot on the stick route. I thought he did a good job. I love Brev's play style. I talk about that probably every week. The way he flies around, the way he hits people. He's a finisher around the pile, which is cool. So yeah, we're getting our young guys a lot of experience, which is a good thing for you.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Assuming winning is still the priority, how convicted are you all that Cooper Rush is your best chance to win a game?
Yeah, it's always about winning. Everything's about winning. We do. Every decision we make should be about winning. Again, I thought Coop did a really good job yesterday in a lot of areas. We certainly did not see the game unfolding where we would have to throw it that many times. It was obviously a reaction to the way the game ended up getting away from us in the fourth quarter. But again, it's not just going to be about one position. And when Dak played, it wasn't just about one position. We got to keep the running game going. We got to keep consistently running the football. I thought we were making progress, and then yesterday we didn't run it very well. And so we got to look at that as coaches and the plan, and was the plan right, and what can we do different? And attempts at the plate are always a big part of it. But run game's got to be better, no matter who's playing quarterback for you.
Aaron?
Aaron Cassens, most of that. That's a good segue. I was going to ask. It seemed like you went from maybe your most consistent running performance to not as promising.
Not very good, yeah.
What did you learn about kind of the way you're trying to run the ball and how effective you were?
Yeah, again, if you just talk about yesterday's game, I mean, I felt like, again, they did a nice job of taking us off some of the double teams, creating kind of a dirty look at the line of scrimmage. Again, Petrie, the nickel converted safety that plays nickel, is an awesome player for him. He did a really good job kind of handling the fits in the B gap and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, again, I just felt like the execution was off. And, we have to look at that and see why. They're not a complicated defense. They kind of line up. They did some things from a personnel package. They played a little bit more base than what we thought and things like that. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to blocking and running and pressing the hole and things like that. And that's where we were not very coordinated yesterday, and that starts with us as coaches.
And we'll finish up with Todd.
Brandon Cooks, what can he mean coming back, and can you expect him to be Brandon Cooks after missing, was it 6-7 weeks, whatever it's been?
Yeah, again, number one, it'd be awesome to have him out there. I know he's itching to get back out there. I like seeing his smiling face all the time, both in meetings and, the cool thing about a guy like B. Cooks is, like, literally every day, he is just thrilled to be in the room, on the field, whatever it is. And, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll be smart with him, and see how he does throughout the week. But in terms of Brandon being Brandon, I don't think there'll be any question he'll be ready to play. And when his number's called, he'll make plays for us like he always does.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.